Hi, my name is Elliott. I play Jonathan in Terrifier 2, and you're watching Burns Reviews.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burns Reviews. My name is John, and today we are talking about the third chapter in the Terrifier franchise by Damien Leone, Terrifier 3. But before we begin, if you could, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the channel a lot. Let's waste no time, let's get into it. I can't wait! Terrifier 3. After surviving Art the Clown's Halloween massacre, Sienna and her brother Jonathan struggle to rebuild their shattered lives. As the holiday season approaches, they try to embrace the Christmas spirit and leave the horrors of the past behind them. However, just when they think they're safe, Art the Clown returns, determined to turn their holiday cheer into a new nightmare. Alright, so as you guys probably know, and for those of you who don't, Terrifier 2 and the Terrifier franchise has become a really big part of this channel. If you look over to the side, there's a playlist, there's over, I think, 20 videos now covering the franchise, whether it be reviews, recaps, character profiles, theory videos. Just, there's a lot of lore that goes into this franchise. And it really kind of woke me up as far as talking about movies, making video essays. It really piqued my interest, you know, during the pandemic even. I think that's when they were coming out, or, you know, at least post-pandemic, and it was a movie that was just really just caught my attention, and I love talking about it, and I love chatting down below in the comments with you guys about it. And not to mention it's helped grow the channel, which is fantastic, and I've had the honor of meeting Damien. I met Elliott Fullam. They were both incredibly just kind people. Like, despite what you may think of, like, these Art the Clown, oh my god, it's so bloody. If you read the news, people say stupid shit like Damien is misogynistic and blah blah blah. Bullshit. These are the nicest people. David Howard Thornton, I didn't meet him in person because he Skyped in, but the nicest dude ever. When you watch him in interviews, like, you would never think that a bunch of crazy people making these horror movies, but my god, I have a lot of love and appreciation for the franchise and the people behind it that make these movies. They are bringing practical effects back into the forefront. The first movie they put out, $35,000. Looks like it would be made for six figures. I was just watching The Real Rejects with Roxy and Greg Alba, and they were like, there's no way this could have been made for less than six figures. And it's like, yeah, $35,000. Terrifier 2, which came out in 2022, was made for $250,000 on a GoFundMe. And now this movie was made for $2 million, and it's estimated to pull in between $11 and $15 million, kicking Joker 2, Fallait à deux, square in the crotch, and knocking it out of the #1 spot, most likely. Can't wait for that to happen. That movie sucked. But regardless, this is probably my most anticipated horror movie of the year, if not my most anticipated in general. And I'm pretty happy to say that this movie did not disappoint. But we're going to go into the pros, the cons, and I'm going to give you my score. I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm really excited. Let's get into it. Let's start with the pros. The biggest pro, I think, are the special effects. Now, like I said, with a bigger budget, $2 million, Damien Leone, who traditionally does the special effects and the writing and the directing and the editing, this time around, he had a little bit of help. This way, he was able to do it in 1 year. I think part 2 took him 3 years during the pandemic. He was able to get it out in 1 year with some assistance, and you know what? It did not hurt at all. One of my reservations was, well, he's going to bring in a team of people to help him out, and you're going to lose that special sauce, that original recipe, but no. These people were fantastic. The scenes in this movie, including the shower scene, which you see in the trailer, but not the gory parts, the opening scene, which people are talking about how people walked out. 3 people walked out of my movie theater screening. There was 2 kids and a mom, and they were just like, nope, they're out. And people were kind of pointing like, there they go. And then Act 3, all have these showcases of practical effects that, if you're a fan of practical effects, like if you like John Carpenter's The Thing, and you love that little spider head that kind of crawls away, if you like Michael Ironside and Scanners, you know, if you like that documentary they've been playing, In Search of Darkness, if you love those movies, this is going to be for you, because even if you don't dig the lore and the story and the characters, I think if nothing else, there's a deep appreciation for the special effects that are put forward in this movie, in this franchise, it's a real celebration of an underdog who's basically putting that forward. So they did not disappoint. I was blown away every single second that I was watching this movie. Let's move on, because I can gush about the practical effects all day. The second thing I want to talk about, as far as pros, is the acting. We have two standouts in this one. Lauren LaVera, who I think could be on the Mount Rushmore of final girls. She can be a badass, she can be somebody getting her ass kicked, she can be empathetic, sympathetic, strong, weak. She kind of can play all different vessels of the kaleidoscope of emotions that really elevate the character and the material. I think part 2, people made complaints that it kind of felt like a B movie, which it kind of is in so many ways. In part 3, though, I was blown away how she really did elevate her game from the last movie. She is the emotional core, the Neve Campbell, if you will, as far as really bringing this movie home and making it sing. Because if you don't have a final girl that you care about, then everything just kind of falls apart. But I would put her on the Mount Rushmore next to Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver, and Neve Campbell. Neve Campbell especially. I'm getting some real Scream 2 kind of vibes. She can really pull you in and make you feel for the character, because if you don't have that, you don't have a movie that works. The second standout to me was Samantha Scaffidi, who plays Victoria Hayes. You know, I did not see this coming. She is pure fucking evil, and there are scenes where I think that she actually gives Art the Clown a run for his money. Because unlike Art the Clown, you know, Art the Clown can't talk. This character can. And, you know, when you see part 2, you know, we have that scene where she's on the TV doing the interview, and that's fine and all. And Damien Leone even talked about how he wished she had more for her to do in part 1. He really gives her a lot to chew on, because she gets to play pure evil, and she just gets to chew the scenery. If I had to be locked in a room with either the character we have here, that Samantha Scaffidi is playing, or Art the Clown, I would go with Art the Clown, because at least Art the Clown make me laugh before he kills me. This character is horrifying, and my god, mouth of a sailor. I think they were channeling Linda Blair in The Exorcist, because that was the vibe I was getting, and she disturbed me, especially in the third act. So I think those are the two standouts, Samantha Scaffidi, Lauren LaVera, heart and soul, and horrifying Samantha Scaffidi. So easily the big standouts. I did not expect that from Samantha Scaffidi. I kind of thought it was going to be like, we'll see. Was blown away with how good she was. Going into cons a little bit, I think I wanted more from Elliott Fullam, because if you watch the trailers, or trailer, he's got like 5 scenes, maybe less, and if you've seen the trailer, you've seen half of them, and I just wanted more. His character, not to go into spoilers, but his character essentially, you know, he's away at college. We're kind of following like the Scream 2 format a little bit. He's almost like Randy in Scream 2, where he's a little bit in denial. You know, Lauren LaVera, Sienna, is very much like, I think Art the Clown is back, and he's kind of like, can we just drop this? Like, I just want to be a normal kid, you know? And he doesn't have as much to do in the first movie. I'm sorry, in this movie as he did in the second movie. They moved the focus away from Elliott Fullam over to Sienna and her niece, the character named Gabby, and they have a real Halloween 4 kind of vibe going on, which I like a lot. There's a lot of nods to Halloween 4 in this movie. A lot of nods to a lot of 80s horror movies. And I can see why they did it. Elliott Fullam is getting a little bit older, and it's way scarier when you have like a 7, 8, 9-year-old girl being terrorized by these characters, as opposed to, like, you know, Elliott Fullam, who the character of Jonathan was like 13 or so in the last movie. Now it's 5 years later, so now he's a man. He keeps getting taller. It's not nearly as scary watching a college kid being tortured the way essentially a 9-year-old girl, or how young this girl's supposed to be. I really felt for the character that played Gabby. She was fantastic. I think her and Sienna has a great dynamic, and I love what Damien is doing with these characters, because the characters really do sing in such a way where, not like Folia do, they don't actually sing, but they really do work. And that's what really kind of pulls these characters together. And of course you have David Howard Thornton. Do not think that I am selling him short. He is fantastic as well. It's just that this is the third time we've seen him. And, you know, you come to take him for granted over time. But he's still great. There's a scene that they just dropped online, so I'm not spoiling anything, where he sees a guy in a Santa suit through a window, and he's like, ah! And it really just takes all the bite out of the murder and gruesomeness. Is like that he's kind of like this Bugs Bunny character still. Fantastic. He hasn't missed a beat. I know he says he wants to play the Joker. Let him freaking do it. After that dumpster fire that is Joker 2, let the man cook. So the acting is great. Going into cons, I wish we got the extended version of this film that Damien kind of talks about. Like, there's 6 deleted scenes that were not in this film because he didn't want to make it as long as the last film because people complained about it. I kind of wish that he didn't listen to the people that complained. The 2 things that he changed from part 2 to part 3 is that he went back to basics to make it more like a grindhouse kind of movie. Like part 1, more of that like B-roll kind of look to it, B-movie kind of look to it. I missed the cinematography with the lighting and the I guess like the filters of like you have like the teal and sienna orange kind of color. And that's not really here. It looks more like the first film than it does the second film. I really like the lighting in the second film. It has a very distinctive style to it, and you don't have that as much. There's also less of that sword and sorcery kind of vibe. Like there is some lore going on in this movie, but there's not as much visualization. Like that Valkyrie outfit that she's got in part 2, I love that. The sword is back. I mean, you kind of see that in the trailer. She's like, I gotta go dig that up. So that does, well, I can't go into how that comes into play. Not how you would expect, but that's in there too. But again, I kind of lean towards liking part 2 a little bit more than 3, but that's just my opinion. Then again, I've only seen it once, so time will tell. This movie does take a lot of nods from Silent Night, Deadly Night, part 1 and 2, Better Watch Out, Black Christmas, Christmas Evil, you know, all the hallmarks of those horror slasher Christmas movies are there. I really hope this movie comes out in time for the holidays in December because I would totally watch it during the holidays. Let's see what else we got here. As far as the story, that's kind of a mixed bag. I loved it every second of the way because I'm in it for the characters and I'm in it for the special effects and the kills and the gore and all that stuff. As far as the story, I just accept it for what it is because we are in a middle chapter. Part 1 is kind of like a prelude. I look at part 1 and look at it as like, this is like Drew Barrymore's Scream. It's its own little dry run. We don't meet Sienna until part 2, so that's where the trilogy really starts for me. And if that's the case, this is Empire Strikes Back. So you know it's going to have certain things to it. You know it's going to be a lot of cliffhangers and loose threads and questions being asked. And as expected, you know, it's not going to end in a way that part 2 ended. It ends in a lot of like, I'll see you in part 4. That may be a thing that people love or hate. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does have a feeling of completeness, I guess. But there's a lot of stuff that you're just like, I need to know now! I can't wait 2 more years to find out what happens with X, Y, and Z. But that's not really a detriment to it. I think this movie is a lot of fun. If you like Christmas horror movies, such as the one that I named before, like Black Christmas and stuff like that, I think you're gonna get a big kick out of this. If you love Art the Clown, if you love Terrifier 2, the first Terrifier fans are gonna love this because kind of beckoning back to the roots a little bit. I just really hope that part 4 kind of takes more notes from part 2, since part 3 took a lot of notes from part 1, with a lot of Christmas spice on top. With that said, guys, I'm going to give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. Probably my second favorite movie of the year. Could be my favorite horror movie of the year. I'll give him that one, hands down. It was a lot of fun watching it with the crowd. I would highly recommend going out Friday, Saturday night, seeing it with your friends, or at least going to like a movie theater that's a little bit rowdy. I drove a solid like hour away because I wanted to go see it at a movie theater where I knew it was going to have a big audience that I seen before, and it did not disappoint. Everybody was having a great time. It's definitely a theater or a communal experience that I would recommend checking out with people. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I have been John here on Burns Reviews. Do stick around. We're going to be doing a spoiler review in a couple of days. I'm going to film it soon, but probably going to take a couple of days to edit. Going into all the spoilers of Part 3. I have so much I want to talk about. The ending, theories, what's going on, what do I think is being foreshadowed in this movie that's definitely going to be paid off in the next movie. A couple of things that didn't work for me, which is few and far between, but questionable decisions. But I can't wait to talk about it. But comment down below, what did you think of Terrifier 3? Try not to put any spoilers in there, or at very least put a spoiler warning. I love this movie. I'm just going to say that. I love this movie. I'm going to go see it again. Can't wait. Until next time, guys, I'll see you soon with that ending explained video. We'll be doing the spoilers very soon. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I have been John here on Burns Reviews, and I will see you next time.
Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. The grub is downright gruesome, but your appetites obey. 'Cause food's a little funny. Food's a little